Today we're going to talk about the Eh Rune, also known as the horse rune, or the people who play with that Proto-Germanic called Awas. You may have noticed I don't use the Proto-Germanic terms. I use the words I've always used, and that's just my independent nature. I refuse to follow the pack. The way I do things, I don't go on with the crowd. And independence is a blessing for me. The horse rune, as we're we're going to talk about independence, because the horse is an empowering thing. And if we look at just the horse and rider, when the horse came along and they could tame this thing, man could travel faster than he ever did before. Not only could he go faster, he could travel longer distances. He could carry more, and in combat he was a much more formidable warrior by having that horse under him. Look at the armored knights of the Middle Ages. Cavalry has always had that advantage. So the horse is an empowering thing. And I'd like you to think of the idea of empowerment. See, that's why I don't form groups or follow. I'd rather be helping people empower themselves, and they can choose their own destiny, their own destination, their own path. We're all unique people. And if we take the time, we can each find or make our own place in this life. And the Eh Rune helps do that, again, through its ability to empower. One empowering thing that people have today that they use is education. Knowing how to do something. That education empowers you, gives you more capability than before you got it. And education comes, of course, from the Ken rune. These runes sometimes operate intertwined rather than independently of one another. Perhaps a skill you develop, perhaps a certain trait or attribute you have, empowers you, gives you independence, gives you the ability to choose your own path in life. And that's important when discussing the Eh Rune, because the Rado rune is also a rune of transportation, but the Rado rune, you're a passenger, you're cargo, you're Fae, the Fae, yeah, you're just along for the ride wherever it takes you. But with the Eh Rune, you're the driver. You're picking the course. You decide your route. You decide your destination. So there is a great independence here. And of course, the Urus rune with independence, again, they intertwine. So by enhancing yourself, enhancing your knowledge, enhancing your skills, enhancing maybe charisma or other things, contacts, through whatever enhancement you do that helps you choose and get to your destination, then you're applying one of the principles of the Eh Rune. It's pretty good stuff, huh? Now, one of the things that the Eh Rune also deals with is the journey and the destination. You have the process of start of the journey itself, and then the end, the destination. It's a process, different from the process of Perdra, where that beginning, middle, and end, what you start with here comes out here more developed and very different. Here it's a journey, just a transit from one point to another, a change. And like all journeys, you can't just focus on the destination. It helps if you watch the scenery along the road, the journey itself. And that's part of what the Eh Rune is about. But here in this case, when you have that empowerment, you don't just go to a destination. You pick a destination for yourself. You notice destination and destiny are similar words, and that's a good thing, because the destiny you're making is your destination. And you have input into how you get there. It's not just that fate sits there and picks something out for you. You have to pick your own way. And that force of fate that we call weird, or some people call it karma, works with you. But it's you who sets things in motion. That's the Eh Rune empowerment, you see. And it's a great thing to pick your place rather than be told where to fit or following along, to dare to be unique. And that does take courage. The courage it takes is the willingness to be able to make a mistake, I should say, and rebound from it. A turtle does not move until he sticks his head out. Cute saying, but true. You have to be willing to face the possibility of making a mistake. There's a little risk involved, but the benefits far outweigh the dangers. Now, all runes have a good side and a bad side, and I'm going to use a little analogy that may startle some folks. And this comes from the tarot. Now, I'm going to say right up front, tarot is its own system. It is not Norse. It is not heathen. It has absolutely no connection to the northern countries, except some decks use northern themes. But those decks were designed, the actual mechanics of those decks were designed hundreds of years ago. Tarot first appeared probably in Italy in the Middle Ages. Some like to say, oh, it was at the pharaohs and in the Sphinx and stuff like that, and that's just a bunch of malarkey. The best they figure the Middle Ages in Italy, and the tarot we have is actually a blend of two decks. There's a game called Tarot, which is a card game based on similar cards. And tarot itself can be used for a game. So let's not make any pretenses. There is no direct single runic correlation to any card. If anything, a card is a blend of runes, or a rune is a blend of cards. They don't exactly correlate perfectly. I've used both systems for years. I enjoy the tarot. I have a small collection because I enjoy the artwork. The thing about the tarot is that we can make one little analogy to the Eh Rune. There are 4 cards in the tarot deck that are called the Knights, some call it the Prince. And each one is depicted as a young man on horseback. And I'm going to use these to tell you a little something about the bad end of the Eh Rune. The Knight of Wands is a fellow who, when he's empowered, goes out to change the world. But he has no consistency. He's not rooted in. So he goes first here. He's going to charge in. He's all fired up. The wand is also elemental fire it represents. And charge in where his passions take him. And here he goes here. And then he's going to do this. And then he's going to, oh wait, something's happening there. I'm going to leave this and go here. And he goes from place to place to place trying to find his place around. But he never stays around and finishes what he started in any one place. He never completes anything. He's just moving from one to the other. And there are people like that empowered. They're going out. They're seeking their destination. But before they move on to the next station, they don't finish what they have to finish here. And so all they leave are a lot of incomplete things, and their journey is incomplete because they never do get rooted and grounded in. A scarier fellow is the Knight of Swords. He doesn't think. He charges. His thing is to charge and get right in the middle there. He doesn't think. He just goes. He's impetuous. And because he doesn't think when he gets there, he often causes more harm than good. He's like a bull in a china shop. He inserts himself in places where he shouldn't even really be. But it's that thing of he doesn't check himself. It's, I see where I want to go, charge, without a second thought. Does he finish things? Well, maybe. But a lot of things get broken along the way. Now the next one is the Knight of Cups. And the Knight of Cups, the Knight of Water, he's equivalent to the Knight of Hearts. And that's adequate because he's led by his emotion, not intuition, which is a very different thing. Intuition works well with intellect. But here is emotion, only he leaves his intellect in his back pocket. And whatever feeling or mood he has, that's where he goes. And he gets his feelings hurt a lot. And he ends up hurting a lot of feelings along the way. Not intentionally, but he's just that kind of wreck. And what does he do? Not much. Oh, I feel I'm going here. So led by his moods, he's really misled. Doesn't accomplish a hell of a lot that's useful. Emotions just gloss things over. They're great energy, but unless they're directed by intellect, not much gets done. Now the last guy here is the Knight of Pentacles or Discs, the Knight of Earth. And this guy doesn't move much at all. He's very small c conservative, not politically conservative, but conservative in his outlook. He doesn't like to move. He doesn't like to get out there. He's one of these guys, he'll stick with precedent. He doesn't want to do anything new. So not much gets done because he may feel empowered, but he never puts it to use. There's always something keeping him where he is. And I knew a woman like this many years ago. She was a woman who always had been poor, always had what you would call a rough life. And she had an opportunity to have a much better life, a whole new lifestyle. It was almost handed to her on a silver platter. It's yours. And at the last moment, she sabotaged it. She threw it away with both hands and just made a mess of it. And the reason she did that was that she knew this new life promised to be much better than what she knew, but she would rather stick with something that was known, if unpleasant, than go to something unknown, even if it promised to be so much better. And there's people like that. They do not want to go into new things and new situations. They're afraid of them. Like the turtle who never comes out of his shell and never gets anywhere. So they end up going nowhere. In order to be empowered, you have to be willing to make mistakes. You cannot be afraid of stepping forward. Again, the turtle only goes forward when he sticks his neck out. All forward progress has risk to it. But the dangers are minuscule compared to the benefits. But the biggest thing is so many people fear making a mistake, they never take that step. Don't be afraid. Be empowered. Be empowered to not only step forward, but to know that you can make mistakes. That's okay. It doesn't mean you're bad. It doesn't mean you're screwed up. It just happens sometimes. But look at the benefits you'll get in spite of those mistakes. Lead your life. Be who you are. Choose your destination. This is Uncle Thor. Have a good one.